Hi guys, I'm the British WW2 man, and today I've got another video for you. Now sorry about where it's being filmed. The mobile's got absolutely atrocious lighting, so I'm having to film it here. So, basically, this is my 16th Luftwaffe Field Division. 16th Luftwaffe Field Division Impression. So, let's get started. So my impression is that I am one of the remaining members of 1st Army Regiment 6, which was completely destroyed in around Carentan, and then I managed to escape. I managed to get back to the nearest Luftwaffe unit, which was the 16th Luftwaffe Field Division, which was in Caen in Normandy 1944. And I managed to lose my K98K, so they issued me with one of these. Now this is a PPSH-41, or this is also known as an MP-41R in brackets. And R stands for Russische, because what happened was in 1942 really, and early 1941, no, very late 1941 and 1942 onwards really, Germans captured millions of these, or hundreds of thousands of these rather, off the Soviets when they were advancing, and basically they were like, what can we do with these? We've got a whole load of PPSH-41s, which is this in its standard form without the magazine, the MP-40 magazine adapter for the magazine, and basically they went, we'd like to be able to use them on other fronts apart from the Eastern Front, because they captured lots of ammunition for them too, just it was mainly on the Eastern Front, and they didn't want to have to transport the ammo to the Western Front, so they decided to convert some of these to standard 9x19mm parabellum. So what they did was they rebarreled them. This one hasn't been rebarreled, or it possibly might have, I'm not sure, but the barrel number is a different serial number to the rest of the weapon, which has got the same serial number, which makes me think it possibly might have been a captured one. Anyway, 1944 dated one this, but so what. Anyway, so they'd rebarrel it for 9mm from the 7.63 Tokarev, and they'd also add one of these, which is a magazine adapter for the MP-40, so it has 6 standard MP-40 magazines. This is a Vigneron magazine post-war, but it's the same as a World War II German one, with just very minor differences. And what they would also do is they would get rid of the magazine release, because they found that sometimes if this was in, sometimes that might get accidentally knocked and then the whole assembly would come out. And so this is how the assembly works. You press this button here, it releases a little notch here, which then allows the magazine to be removed. The magazine stays in the weapon like so. Anyway, so they sometimes take these, they would take these off on some of them, and then if they wanted to convert it back to standard Soviet round, if they captured, say, lots of Soviet ammo, what they do is they could literally just do this if they had any spare Soviet barrels. Still a chamber for the 7.63, and so what they do is they take it to bits. I can't do it with this because this is deactivated. What you do is you lift this up, the weapon will bend in half at the front here, be able to pull the barrel out, and then just have to reinsert this little part here, this bit here, and then get rid of this part, and they can put a standard Soviet mag in again, and it would work exactly the same. So yeah, anyway, off that point, this was converted to fire basically 9mm rounds and have MP-40 magazines, and what's happened was that they had some of these spare with the 16th Luftwaffe Field Division. This is just all hypothetical, so I'm not 100% sure Luftwaffe 16th Luftwaffe Field Division actually had some of these. However, it's likely they would have, because the Luftwaffe Field Divisions were always very under-equipped and always getting stuff from anywhere they could. And so yeah, I was picked up by the 16th Luftwaffe Field Division, and I was reissued some kit, because what had happened was I had to ditch quite a lot of my kit when I was escaping through the Carentan marshes, and which had been flooded by the Germans. And so yeah, I was reissued one of these. I was reissued MP40 ammunition pouches here and here. However, these are army ones, but that's not inaccurate, because Luftwaffe units would use whatever was to hand. They would get issued army kit as well, but just because Luftwaffe production was separate from army production, and it was always crap. Not crap quality, but always crap quantity, and quantity was what they needed, so they'd always substitute with army things. So, standard weapon, MP41R. In here is this, in the buttstock there's the, I can't get it open, but in this part there's the cleaning rod for cleaning the section. I do have one in here, it's just that I'll break my fingers trying to get it out, because it's been, it looks almost completely unissued. Standard sling for it. So yeah, these were used on the Western Front. No matter what people say, they were used on the Western, Southern, all fronts. Where they were needed, they were used and issued. Because I found a picture of, in the Italian campaign, an unconverted one of these. So while still firing the Soviet ammo, I found a picture of someone wearing carrying one of those. So they were used, and also I think it's called World War II metal detecting, something like that. There was a channel, and they went and metal detected some of the Battle of the Bulge sites, and they found again an unconverted PPSH-41, which the Germans were called the MP717, I think, which was the unconverted name for one of these. So it would be accurate for me to have one of these. So yep, now on to my secondary weapon. I have this, which is in brown leather holster, which is standard for the Luftwaffe, and it is a Luger P08. And so this is a Denix replica. As I'm with the group, it's all legit. So there's the magazine. It holds 7 rounds of 9x19 Parabellum. Designed by Georg Luger about 1904. Well, there have been developments in really the late 1890s through to about 1908 when it finally got accepted is in this form. And this is a wartime style production weapon, because the Germans produced it from 1907, 1908, actually 1904 when the German Navy adopted it. They were producing it right up until 1942, I believe, when they stopped well, yeah, I think it was 1942 or 1943 when they stopped production of Lugers and moved on to Walther P38s. However, I could still have been issued this because they had millions of these literally just knocking around. And the German wartime ones differed from the ones made in the First World War and in the 1930s, etc., due to the fact that they had Bakelite grips for the wartime production ones. Well, from about 1940 onwards it was Bakelite grips rather than the wooden grips. Here is the standard leather holster for it. There's space for one magazine here. I don't have a spare magazine for this one. And it has a space here for what's called a combi tool, which you use to take it to bits. It's toggle action. And you can tell that by, if I push that, you can see the whole barrel's top section moves. So, yep, that's that one. And my one of my last fallback weapon that I'd have is this, which is colloquially known as a boot knife, but properly known as, and what I call it is a trench knife. Original, 1942 dated, and so these were very popular with the German forces, produced I believe all the way through the war. There's the date there. This is HAT, which is factory code. (1942). I can't remember what the factory code was, but this is an original one because it's the quality of how it's made, etc., is, from what I can tell, better than the reproductions which are produced. So these could be carried anywhere because they had a little clip here. They could be fixed on belts, on packs, on anything. However, quite often they'll be carried in boots. As for the last line of self-defense, I get onto the boots later. And so that was it. If you're hand-to-hand fighting, weapon gets knocked aside or whatever, just reach down, pull it out, finish the enemy off. So that one there. Now, moving on to grenades. This is the M39 egg grenade, or Handgranate, Handgranate, which is egg hand grenade in German. And they could be affixed to the bottom of ammunition pouches by this ring, or they could be attached to Y straps, which is what this one is attached to. And so yeah, they could be fixed to Y straps or bottom of ammo pouches, or possibly sometimes attached to MP40 ammunition pouches, such as here. And they had different coloured tops. Now, how these worked was that this bit would unscrew, and then you'd have a piece of string or a timer. You could either whack it or pull a piece of string depending on what type you had. Pull the string, then you'd have, if this is the standard one, which is blue, that's 4.5 seconds between pulling this and throwing this. Downside about all German grenades was that, unlike the Allied grenades, you had to throw it once you pulled the pin. No other option. Otherwise it would go off in your hand, because there is no safety. And so the different coloured heads would go from grey, which was 0 seconds. They'd be the booby trap ones that the Germans would often leave with dead bodies in positions, and that 0 second fuse would mean Allied soldiers would run in, go, yeah, I need a new grenade, poof, blows up in their hand and kills them. And also it was used in booby traps as well, so they'd say string this across a corridor, like here for example, attach a piece of string to this side, have this bit fixed here, have this on the other wall. Soldier comes walking through, doesn't see it because it's a thin piece of wire, walks into it, pulls the... this would also be unscrewed, so it would be like that. Have the wire attached to it, walks into it, pulls the pin, goes off, etc. Causes massive amount of damage. These were mainly shock grenades. Whatever people say about them being fragmentation, that's wrong. Shock grenades. Blast was the main thing that did the difference, did the damage rather. So there's that one there. Second grenade that I have, which is the main standard grenade that quite a lot of people will be quite familiar with, and is the famous potato masher grenade. Or that's a nickname that it was given. Its proper name is M24 Stielhandgranate, or M24 steel hand grenade. And these could be thrown a lot further than any of the other grenades produced in the war, because they had a handle, and the handle meant it gave added momentum. Both of these are again reproductions, otherwise that would be illegal for me to own them in the UK. unless they were deactivated, of course, and they cost about 150 quid each. Anyway, so this one you can see a lot better because it actually unscrews, and so what would happen is that here is the detonating fuse. In here, this would all be packed full of explosives. However, it's not. This is a fake fuse, by the way. So what would happen is this bit will be in here, screwed on. You could also change that fuse as well, the length. I believe red was, for these, red was 6 seconds, I believe. And then there's another one which was yellow, I think was 10 seconds, which would be the, used for smoke for these ones. Anyway, so yeah, they have exactly the same sort of fuses for this. And so you'd unscrew the bottom cap of the M24 stick grenade, pull out, and this porcelain ball would fall out, and you pull this. Normally it'd be 4.5 second delay fuse. Again, I'm not going to pull this because I don't think it wants to come out, and I'm not going to get it back in if I do. So you pull this, throw it, and you could throw these up to 50 meters away, which is quite far. If you had a good enough arm, usually about 20-30 meters, which is a lot further than throwing the other ones. Throwing just a standard round grenade. These also, the shape of this made it a lot nicer for booby trapping as well, because you could say put this in a whole load of rocks, put like a rock here, 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 and here, and then have again another piece of string attached to this. And then someone steps over, triggers the booby trap. This is pulled, and you can also kind of point it that way towards the enemy as well. So however, Germans, this was also a blast grenade. However, the Germans noted that they had a slight problem with their grenades, was that they'd only blast. So they're very good for assaulting in position. However, it would only take out really the people in that room. And that's good if you want to take out a tank, just drop it into the tank. The blast would take out quite a lot of crew, etc. However, it would be nicer if you could combine this and the Allied style grenades with the fragmentation parts. So they created a little fragmentation sleeve which they'd fit over the top of this. So then that combined both blast, but it slightly reduced the blast damage, and combined the fragmentation which they wanted. So that was good. And they also, in 1943, they then changed the design of the grenades again, basically combining this and this, so it would look a bit like that. However, I don't have one of those, and that was basically to kind of save a little bit of production time with materials. Didn't have to hollow out the handle, it could just be straight, which made it stronger as well. And also it allowed it to be a hole to be dug that sit in the top, have pieces of string. That is a lot better for booby trapping than either of these grenades combined. Well, than this grenade, because this one could also be buried up to here if you wanted, but it would be easy for the person who's tripping it just to pull the grenade out of the ground rather than actually pull the cord. So anyway, those are my main weapons. So off the weapons and onto kit.